Ready, get set, action.
We will use our anger at injustice as a positive, nonviolent force for change.
We will approach every encounter with fellow members and the public with positivity and mindfulness.
And with the assumption that concerns raised are coming from a positive place.
And present a learning opportunity.
Our attitude,
as conveyed through our words,
symbols, and actions,
will be one of openness, friendliness,
and respect towards all people we encounter.
All members have an important role to play in Veterans for Peace.
regardless of previous military rank, branch, or combat experience.
We will respect one another as equal parts of a whole.
We will not assault verbally, in person, or online anyone,
to include fellow members and those who oppose or disagree with us,
even if they assault us.
This does not preclude a member's right
to defend themselves
against a physical attack.
In keeping with our commitment to achieving our goals through nonviolent means,
there is an expectation that members will not carry weapons with them
to Veterans for Peace events
or while representing Veterans for Peace,
regardless of the laws in their location.
We will follow the directions of designated coordinators
during public actions
organized on behalf of Veterans for Peace.
We'll use democratic principles within our organization to ensure an open, fair, inclusive, and transparent environment.
We will speak as members of Veterans for Peace,
but not for Veterans for Peace,
unless designated as a spokesperson for Veterans for Peace.
All members are free to speak for themselves or on behalf of their chapter as appropriate.
Sexist,
racist,
homophobic,
ageist,
transphobic,
gender discriminatory,
and all other discriminatory language and actions
are common within the military.
They are not acceptable within Veterans for Peace.
Our words and actions will maintain
the political and financial independence of Veterans for Peace.
To achieve the above goals, we will also engage in active listening.
That is, fully concentrating on what is being said,
rather than passively hearing the message of the speaker. All right, action.
I am a veteran of the Army National Guard,
of the United States Navy,
the United States Air Force,
of the U.S. Army,
and I am a veteran of the American War in Vietnam.
And I've been a member of Veterans for Peace
for 2.5 years.
15 years.
Close to 30 years now.
For about a month now.
For over 1 year.
An active member for 20 years.
We as military veterans do hereby affirm our greater responsibility
to serve the cause of world peace. To this end, we will work with others both nationally and internationally.
To increase public awareness of the causes and costs of war.
To restrain our government
from intervening overtly and covertly in the internal affairs
of other nations.
To end the arms race.
To reduce and eventually eliminate nuclear weapons.
To seek justice for veterans and victims of war.
To abolish war as an instrument of national policy.
To achieve these goals, members of Veterans for Peace pledge to use nonviolent means
and to maintain an organization that is both democratic and open,
with the understanding that all members are trusted to act in the best interests of the group
for the larger purpose of world peace.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Let's go scrolling. Here we go.
We're live.
We are live. Awesome. Well, hello. This is Gamers for Peace, another ad slam. We love doing these every Friday where we make fun of the military depictions in media, especially ad campaigns. And today I play Antifa. I should say that first. If you see me in the Discord, that's what I go by there. I am Devil's Leftist here. I am a 5-year Marine Corps vet, and I enjoy talking with these guys every Friday. Today we are going to talk about something fun. It's G.I. Joe. So I'm really excited to get into it. We have talking heads. Why don't we go to Sincerely V? He hasn't been on in a while, so I'm excited to see them here.
Hi. Glad to be here. Thanks for that welcome. I'm Sincerely V, Gamer for Peace, VFP member, VFP digital organizer, and United States Marine Corps vet. And I'm happy to be here. I have a funny story about G.I. Joe, but I'm going to pass it to Pacifist War Vet first.
Hi, I'm Jules. I also go by Pacifist War Vet as a streamer and on our Discord server for Gamers for Peace. I am the Veterans for Peace membership coordinator and lover of making fun of nationalist bullshit and propaganda. And I'm also an Air Force veteran. Are we talking heads? Is Haas one of the talking heads?
I am.
Okay, Haas.
Yep. Hey everyone, my name's Haas Delgado. I am here as an ally for G4P and also running tech for AdSlam. I second Jules with Pacifist War Vet with slamming on nationalist propaganda and love making fun of G.I. Joe, and we'll try to keep the meme G.I. Joe a little to a limit and won't say pork chop sandwiches too many times. Which is all the best G.I. Joe content.
It really is.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later.
This is super exciting because I had to admit I don't know as much about this topic as I usually go into these ad slams. Usually I'm pretty versed on what we're going over. But for whatever reason, G.I. Joe was just never a huge part of my life, like the cartoon or the dolls action figure. Sorry. But
I call them action dolls.
Aw, I like that.
I'm a fan.
But yeah, usually I know a lot more about this, but this is gonna be fun because I know a lot less. Pacifist War Vet did the research for this, so if you want to start us off in how we're gonna learn this, that'd be great.
Okay, so we're gonna start with where G.I. Joe came from. Most people's introduction to it, who would be watching this, may have been introduced to it by the cartoon. However, that is not where it started. Dave Brieger is a cartoonist who originated a cartoon in 1942. He himself was in the Army in World War II. And when around the same time, he came out with a cartoon called Private Brieger, named it after himself. And it was like the Sunday Funnies. It was like one of those panels, like in syndication in newspapers all over the place, including a magazine called Yank Magazine, which was actually an U.S. Army publication. And so so do we have, I don't know, we have Yank up.
Yep.
Do we have Yank up on screen? Okay, cool.
It is.
So Yank Magazine was distributed by the United States Army. And it was a magazine that was distributed to members of the U.S. Army. And so when they went to Yank for the first time, they renamed the character G.I. Joe. So that's David Brieger, and these are some of his comics.
I'm sorry. I had a cat that was locked in the room. It was not very happy.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I had to let them out the door. All right.
Aw, poor
First
kitties.
comic.
So the jokes don't all make sense. But at the time, apparently they were funny. This one actually does make sense. I'm not sure if you can read it, but it says, "Pardon me, may I explain what executing your orders means?" So good pun.
And
here.
a very confused Private Brieger.
Yes, exactly.
Does that take the cake for the nicest sergeant?
It's no,
yes,
that's when they're the scariest. Actually, it's pardon me.
Yes,
I see you. I see you've put yourself in quite a quandary. Let me assist you. I'm going to personally assist you in getting yourself unfucked. And let's handle this.
I would much rather be yelled at than that. I would much rather be yelled at. Like, please just shoo me out. Please.
And then they commence to physically unfuck you. And
Fair enough.
Yes.
All right, so here's the next one.
This one's a little bit hard to read because
Yeah.
of the, and also I'll read it. It's too quiet for him around here, so he's trying to stir up action.
And what's it say on his little
war
kite?
is boring.
Oh, it
apparently.
says Fui on der Führer.
Yes.
What?
is he like, is that like a an unintentional commentary on like the mental state, like early PTSD?
Probably. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Because he's encouraging, like, oh, it's a quiet in the trenches, right? Which in
Quiet.
words, it's brief moments of excitement, long periods of boredom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of
So
sit around and wait.
a lot of sit around and wait.
Love it
Yeah.
so much.
What's interesting from my point of view is that this looks a lot like a World War I battlefield too, instead of World War II.
Mhm.
With like the trenches, the lines of barbed wire, like the destroyed tree.
Mm-hmm.
But he made it while he was in Britain.
Interesting. I mean, so on the one hand, I empathize with this, like, jokingly, like, come on, I'm so bored, please, like, just the next drone drop something because I'm so
Yeah.
freaking bored. I want to do something, you know, like you find yourself almost wishing for violence because you're bored, and then like there's this like second where you step back and you're like, why did I just think that about myself? And so yeah, I can see this being like the beginnings of working through like early stages of PTSD, because you don't like, if you're in the early stages, you don't like when it's quiet. That's when you have to sit and you have to sit with it. That's the last thing you want to do. So I wonder if yeah, exactly, like maybe if stuff is happening, I'm not thinking about it because it's kind of how it feels. So maybe this is that's a darker interpretation of the comic. I like it.
True.
Well, that's what it means now, because that's what we got out of it.
Yeah.
All right, and another one.
Okay. Okay, don't forget sexism also.
Yeah.
His art
right.
style
Forgot about
drastically
that.
changes.
It has drastically changed. That's true.
He hit Sergeant and changed his whole style. It says, "Oops, sorry. I thought it was some German surrendering."
But it's her underwear.
But it's two women.
The white bloomers.
Oh, I see. Okay, I was kind of looking at
laundry.
it like I don't really get it. They're just washing clothes.
It's the wind called
It's
the white
yeah.
bloomers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see.
Again with the barbed wire and the trenches.
Yeah.
I love how angry they look. that's accurate.
I mean, he is pointing the gun at one of them.
Yeah, like he's flagging them.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, put it away. What's wrong with
dude.
you?
For real.
Christ, man. Oh my God.
He did start drawing this cartoon before he actually joined the military.
Oh, this one in particular, or do you mean
I
his
don't
comic?
know.
Oh,
I know
okay,
that he
okay.
started drawing it before he actually joined. So
Yeah, and then he just kind of used his own experience to enhance it after he
Exactly.
didn't end up joining.
Exactly.
Which, I mean, you know, I'm not in favor of that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have anything against Private Brieger. The reason why we laughed introducing him was because we were talking about the pronunciation of his name before we went live.
Could be burger. Could
Turns
be
out we were all
Brugere.
wrong.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
us.
we decided on Brieger. We're sticking with it. We might as well.
True.
If
That's
we're
what
wrong,
howtopronounce.com
please say so, I
told
guess
me.
We don't care.
It's better than what I was going with.
If we're wrong, submit a correction to howtopronounce.com.
I listen, like when I was reading this, I was reading it burger, so
Yeah, I just assumed it was
I recognized
BER.
it wrong. Yeah, that's what I saw, and
Yeah.
I didn't know until you corrected me.
I didn't know till Jules corrected me either. All right.
Because I've been reading it for like days. putting
Yeah.
this together.
That's
Okay,
that's
go ahead.
fair. Yeah.
So what
Totally
happened
fair.
after Private Brieger?
Okay.
Yes, it's
So, GI Joe becomes like the universal descriptor for the everyman
Mm-hmm.
military man, and Brieger was not smart enough to trademark it back then, and so a movie was released with the name. It was like The Adventure of GI Joe or some shit like that. I can't remember the story of GI Joe from a company that like was completely unrelated to him. They released a film, and then in 1986, Hasbro came out with the GI Joe action figure. They were very afraid of calling them dolls for boys back then because dolls were only for girls.
Right. So instead, we're gonna give you this somewhat weirdly like jacked plastic figure instead of letting you play with something we'll call a doll. Because
yeah, we're not gonna call
really
it a doll first of all, and we'll make it yeah, and we'll make it extremely masculine. So like yeah. So they came out with the action figures of GI Joes.
Narrow definition of masculine, in my opinion.
I'm 100% looking up if it was ever called an action doll. For some reason, I thought I heard someplace that they were originally called action dolls before Hasbro like changed it to action figure because of fragile masculinity.
I don't think
but
so.
I wanted to confirm that.
I think this was kind of the beginning of the phenomenon we had like the whole second half of the 20th century where boys have boy toys, girls have girl toys. There is no intermixing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the separation of it's all bullshit.
Yeah. And it ruined the good Teen Titans series.
Oh wait, how did it do that?
Because girls got interested in Teen Titans and Warner Bros was like, nope, this is ruined.
Oh. We can't have girls liking it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They have cooties.
I mean, the original Starfire and Raven were fucking awesome. Just saying.
Yeah, like the
Going
original
out on
animated
limbs.
Teen Titans was such a good series.
So good.
But it's definitely girls' faults, not the company.
Okay, I said that wrong earlier, by the way. They started making these action figures in like the 60s or the 50s. The actual action figures. The actual cartoon did not come out until 1986. My apologies for that. So there's a little video of the action dolls from when they were invented, if you want to show that.
All right, history of G.I. Joe.
I love it so much. This is incredible. Oh my god.
In 1964, just 5 years after Barbie burst onto the
Why does it
scene,
sound so much
another
like
doll
the
took the
Reaper
world by
and
storm. But this one packed a pistol and an M16.
When you get G.I. Joe and the authentic G.I. Joe equipment,
those are
you'll
weirdly
have the greatest
realistic.
realism, the greatest fun you ever had in playing soldier. Remember,
I'm like
G.I.
mildly
Joe
impressed.
is G.I. Joe.
Okay, so pause it there.
Okay.
The inspiration.
There we go.
It kind of goes into like the guy who invented it and how he decided to invent it. So that is G.I. Joe, the original action figure. What do we have to say about the commercials and the song?
Talk about military everyman.
Yeah.
There is 100% chance at least one person still has like a 3D diagram up like they showed in this.
Mm-hmm.
Someone in this country.
Yeah. Probably. And that's really
there are
cool.
Many someones.
Yeah.
Many someones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just I mean, this is old. I'm not gonna like. I don't like the idea that we hold up things only to the conditions of their time, because some things were bad because they were bad, period. And even though it was accepted at the time, doesn't mean that it's okay. So I don't like holding it like, holding that standard too rigidly, at least.
Yeah.
I do, obviously some leeway should be allowed. Obviously, we've learned things as a society. However, the whole like military everyman, and then you see it in front of you and it's this tall, like slender, talk about, unrealistic standards for women with the Barbie doll, unrealistic standards for not women with these, because the military everyman, like according to them, can be this like super tall, like 6 foot triangle shaped white dude. And I don't, it goes without saying that that's a super narrow understanding of any population, let alone the American military. It's very, very blanket, and it should, I don't know. I guess my point is like, yeah, military everyman, and rolling our eyes to see blonde hair, blue eyed Joe over there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
Like Phoenix said, kin and camo.
Yeah, absolutely. This
Yes.
doll did
Ken
4
and camo.
boys, giving them exactly one image that is very white supremacist, for what it is to be a man. The same way that Barbie did that for little girls.
So the original G.I. Joe released 1964 and Vietnam started in 1965. So this commercial is around and what kids are consuming while we are drafting and sending people to Vietnam.
This is before that. This is before that.
This is before
now
that.
Skip to 434 in this video. And we will skip to that period.
Sorry, did I jump ahead in the
No,
outline?
that was a perfect transition.
Okay.
For more
you were
than
on
4 years, G.I. Joe won nearly every battle he faced. But in 1969,
Until America went to Vietnam.
Joe took it on the chin. Like his comrades in arms, those little green army men, Joe suffered from a backlash of anti-war sentiment.
Oh my God.
Joe's
Are they
creators knew
using
that for
this
the
kid?
action figure to weather the
I'm so
turbulent
angry
social
right
climate
now.
of the late 60s, they would have to give Joe new marching orders.
Oh, how terrible. They want peace.
We said, instead of strictly military,
evil things.
let's make G.I. Joe an adventurer.
Every set had a goal. You capture the gorilla, you kill the shark, you rescue the idol, you dig up the mummy's tomb.
It's explicit.
It's still very much action-oriented.
Oh my
but with a
God, I
different
thought it'd be
goal
more
than-
hidden than this.
than the 60s military stuff.
Why is that?
In recent years, thanks to a wave of nostalgia for the original stoic soldier,
Okay, so
the
pausing.
12-inch G.I.
Oh my God.
So what? Oh no, what?
No, I was just waiting for it to get to like the Marine Corps blues. It's like, oh no, how are they gonna butcher it?
No.
I hope they butcher it.
No, it's only tactical.
Same.
It's only tactical uniforms mostly. There are a couple of dress uniforms, but anyway, so the Vietnam War happens, the anti-war movement happens, and G.I. Joe has to be rebranded. He becomes an adventurer. So you take that military origin, add it to adventurer, and in 1986, we get G.I. Joe, a real American hero, the cartoon.
Ooh, that progression is
In 1986,
on the
I
nose.
was 5 years old, and I watched this regularly.
I was 1 and I watched it regularly.
See, I'm younger.
But you
so
don't remember, yeah.
Yeah, also Phoenix, adventurer, mercenary. It's only mercenary when he goes to Guatemala and other South American countries.
Yeah, a lot of adventurers were really just like solo colonizers. So I
Yeah.
don't know if they want to keep using that moniker. Cecil Rhodes was arguably an adventurer, but he was a single person colonizer. Like, let's look at his that's the person behind Rhodesia, by the way. If anyone has needs something to look up on Wikipedia later, you're welcome. I'm gonna ruin your night.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot. I was gonna say. Yeah, I was born after a lot of the G.I. Joe cartoons, being the youngin' on stream, but it still kind of lived on as that American mythos, and like I said, being born at the dawn of the internet age, we just memed everything to hell and back and just made fun of it. So
oh my
that
god,
was
do
how
we
I
have a
was
Gen
born.
Zer?
No, I am
Okay.
I am the last year of millennial.
I'm the first year of
Oh.
millennial.
Yeah.
I'm
So we
in the middle
span a whole
somewhere.
generation.
Sure do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, is there any more in this video, or do we want to go on to the next one?
Let's go for the G.I. Joe cartoon
This
video.
one. Okay. Is there a certain time in this one you want me to go to?
Start at the beginning. We got to watch the opening
intro.
credits.
Okay.
This.
Oh, already at the war
I'm
imagery.
here.
Oh,
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
It's more.
It's 100% war. There is not no war imagery.
Oh my god. The whole
Jump wings.
Where is your shirt? You need to be wearing a flag. What are you doing?
Bad guys.
Fighting to save the day.
You know he's bad because he's bald and gray somehow.
Or has no face.
Tanks. Property damage. Which is fun. I'm fine with
Fighting for
is
freedom.
the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission.
I'm just saying,
Joke
I
for legal
am so upset that I did not have laser rifles while I served.
I would have re-enlisted. My ethics screw up for lasers. Come on. For a laser gun, I would throw away my accent. It's all of my ethics. Oh my god.
I have also spent years of my life looking for a plexiglass metallic mirror face shield. Like, years. I'd give a finger. I'd give a finger for that.
Wow, you want it really bad, huh?
I do. There's so many costume ideas. Like, so many costume ideas.
Oh, that's what Brett meant by Cobra.
Yes. So Cobras are the bad guys.
Okay, got
They
it.
are they are mostly described as a ruthless terrorist organization.
Ah, cool. No room for gray area. Makes it really, really morally black and white. Easy. Like it.
Yes. And also, when George Bush was old enough to start an actual war, he would be like, what did they call those bad guys? Oh yeah, terrorists.
And from memory, just remembering like Cobra, like it's a full scale government military that is just that doesn't belong to a government. But it's a full scale military that belongs to this random terrorist. So, I never knew, I didn't remember that they were just referred to as terrorists. I always lumped them in with a nation state.
Yeah, I mean,
and didn't realize
they are a nation state. They are just a nation state who exists within the confines of governments of other countries. Like they don't have their own occupied territory, I guess.
Mm.
They're a nation without a state.
Exactly.
Got it.
What's interesting about Cobra is that it's like an exact one-to-one ripoff of Hydra from Marvel.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if there's like similarities.
Yeah, I was actually looking which one came first, and yeah, Marvel had Hydra.
And who fights Hydra?
The Avengers.
The Avengers. That makes perfect sense.
Well, Hydra was
Yes.
a evil super team of like people that split off from the Nazis after World War II.
Ah.
Yeah,
And
like
then-
the mysterious Nazi scientists, like
Yeah.
where they go.
Ah. Okay.
And they've been around forever and infiltrated everything. But it's a standing Nazi army kind of thing.
And then Cobra's just pretty much a ripoff of Jack Kirby's imagination.
Interesting.
Who didn't rip off Jack Kirby?
It's true.
I mean, when
Jack
you
Kirby.
if you go far enough back, no story is original.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
you're
oversimplifying
right.
on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm not stealing. I'm not trying to steal anybody's work.
Okay. So Cobra is this terrorist organization. Hold on. I've lost my place in my notes. Sorry.
And they pretty much just want to
You're
control the world or like total world domination.
Yes, and a lot of the plots have to do with some infringement upon freedom. They are trying to take the freedom from somebody, or it goes completely bonkers and they're robbing a bank for no reason because they're broke and they need to fund their lasers and stuff.
oh, so there's moral ambiguity for them, but not for the other side.
Basically, yeah.
Which when you consider a show for kids, I kind of understand that. Because when you're a child, you're not like that level of developed. You don't have this ability to see these different moral implications. So you just don't have the vocabulary in the first place to deal with that. So I understand this not being morally gray.
Yeah.
But if I feel like I could, like, if anyone wants to understand just war theory, you can just watch the show and that's just war theory.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
It's a very traditional understanding of war and how it's conducted. And there's been a lot of challenges to it because it like that model to a lot of people no longer fits the mold of like regular warfare, and a lot even question how well it fit in the past in the first place. I'm sorry, I just finished a class on this and I know I'm rambling and I apologize.
No, you're good. You're
It's
good.
really
You are
interesting. But I
educating
feel
us.
like I feel like this looks at so black and white that you can learn about just war theory through G.I. Joe.
Absolutely.
Probably.
Which is probably not a good thing because it primes kids for war.
Okay, I need you to make that your thesis in college so that I can then experience it like in podcast form,
Ooh, I don't need a thesis to do a podcast. There's a lot of people doing podcasts that have way less than that.
That's true.
And what would be great would be you could watch through the series and it would be your first time ever seeing it and we get to experience that with you. Like, that would be cool. Sorry.
That actually is kind of cool. You gave me a really good anyway. We're getting off track.
We can make this happen.
Why don't we watch a little bit more of the unless Sin wants to talk.
I was gonna say I wonder, like, is this the first episode?
This is the first episode of G.I. Joe.
It's the first episode. Okay, so there's no origin, there's no like true backstory other than like the opening credit roll. So I'm wondering if this is very much like most 80s cartoons, like Dungeons and Dragons cartoon and like Thundercats, where there's no exposition at all. It drops you. They've been in planet, in country, and in battle for 20 goddamn years already. Yes. And there's nothing. It's just they're the bad guys and we're just trying to survive doing our thing. Though I love the original Thundercats. I'm just saying, even though they drop you in the middle, and the OG Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. Like,
I never saw that one.
I
also
did
no memes about it.
I may have come across a box set of the cartoons at one point and rewatched them in my 20s. And it may have been a very horrible decision because it's not a great cartoon.
Hey, I'm with
you.
you.
Real pain in your eyes there.
My takeaway was they literally drop you into the middle of the D&D campaign when the characters are like level 15, but the characters don't even know they're level 15. And like,
oh god,
and like they've been in campaign for years.
So it's Critical Role season 1.
I guess I just watched Critical Role.
Where they start and they're already level 8, and like they've been doing the campaign on their own for like a year and a half before.
Oh my god.
Yes, that's exactly what it is in cartoon format. Yeah. So that's how I feel like I am with G.I. Joe right now. It's just a different RPG.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Chances are we'll see an RPG in here too.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I see what you did there.
Very cool plane.
Bacteria brain, come down and let's discuss.
We have cool technology.
Oh, come on, Duke.
This isn't the original.
Spirit of adventure. Give a teammate a hand.
Oh, they have a girl.
Yes, they do. They worked really hard to actually make this very diverse at one point. They wanted to make sure that there was a character that everybody loves, because if there's one that everybody loves, we can sell a doll to every single fucking one of them. You know?
G.I. Joe and Transformers were both the cartoons were completely created to sell the dolls. Like the dolls came before
that was most of the 80s and
most of the cartoons.
Yes, they were 22-minute commercials for dolls with pauses for other commercials for other dolls.
And that's what Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, pretty much every like, Saturday morning cartoon was an advertisement.
You gotta kind of hand it to them. That is, like, from a market standpoint, that's freaking genius. I hate it.
I hate it.
Oh god, I hate this.
It's the Sky Strikers they're after.
Of course, they put a girl and they have to have a romantic subplot. She can't just exist.
Because they can't, I mean...
She can't just be there for her own sake.
Exactly. So, already, in the first... What time stamp are we on,
Hold on.
right now?
She flew the plane. Why is he flying now?
Well, because she can't. It's real. She can't do it now because it's real stuff. That was just like playing around.
Exactly.
Fine, we can't take her
she's
seriously.
also in she's now in the gunner seat in that jet at the time.
Yeah, which is
so,
actually kind of neat.
Yeah, like
I'm actually not that mad about it.
Okay.
I'm still a little mad about it because
Like,
I'm still a gunner.
like I don't know all the duties of the person that's in that seat, but I know it's more than just tag along and not do anything. I will
You're
say
right.
that.
That's
You're
true.
right. Yes.
That is absolutely
oh, wow,
true.
That is a lot of destruction.
Oh, by the way, 3 minutes in, it took 3 minutes into this cartoon to fail the Bechdel test. Just saying.
Also note how they're coded as. Notice how they look different. They speak different. Like the long mustache versus the like either full beard or clean shaven on the American side. I don't know. Maybe I'm analyzing it too much.
Of the evil bad guys.
I mean, yeah, it's a kid's show. It has to. If it's evil, it's evil.
Yeah.
But look at the people behind. Look at the guy that was carrying the pack.
Yeah.
They ain't loyal.
Sherpa / Middle Eastern.
Yeah. Cobras right there.
Now,
it's like coded.
Oh, they can't be too bad. They say please.
It can't be too bad. They say please.
We are
Oh my god, that is opulent.
You were expected days, Sako Destro.
So 6 years after this comes out is Aladdin, which I just want to say used the same exact imagery of the Cobra representation. Like it's that Cobra console he was touching looked identical to the Jafar's staff.
Yes.
Great,
yes.
Well, that's also like snakes and serpents and stuff being associated with evil and darkness is not really a new thing in media tech. So that like that by itself isn't nefarious. I just like there is this like for the 80s there was this, like coded Orientalism, particularly the 80s, where like the other was like Eastern looking, and it would be like there would be elements that you would see like maybe Indian, but there are also elements of like more Middle Eastern, like Syrian architecture or something, and then but it would be very ambiguous, just like how it is here. Like you can't really pinpoint it.
Then we shall not fail. Load the mass pods quickly. It is the first.
Why do they always have to talk like that?
Domination of the universe.
Because that's the evil voice, obviously.
Wait, we're dominating the universe now?
Well,
That's
yeah.
like-
Every conspiracy theory is the world domination thing.
Mhm.
It's very easy to get like a clear moral message here.
Now back to G.I.
We're
Joe.
fighting for this existential threat. You're not going to analyze the justness of entering a war if it's literally an existential threat.
Challenge for the G.I. Joe team.
I presume your request for G.I. Joe was filed correctly, General Flag. Form BX-257, requisition
All right,
order
there's a girl lieutenant.
The ball buster, like
Juanita
Yeah.
Hooper,
Yeah.
budget and
representation.
accounting At the Pentagon.
You gotta ignore her because we're
Why did you
doing
salute
the
in
man's work.
Why are you wearing your cover indoors? This is weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bad chance. This is as far as we go.
Did they not have a consultant?
Perhaps they're not. Perhaps they are outdoors right now.
Incredible capability.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess.
My mission
yeah.
is to ensure.
But then he's not wearing one, and so
Yeah,
he's
either
also.
way, he shouldn't have done
You
it.
want
Like,
the G.I. Joe team to try a break-in to test your defenses. Am I right, General?
Affirmative, Duke. You're way ahead of me as usual.
Not a very wise procedure, dollar-wise.
But necessary nonetheless, Major.
yeah,
When can
yep,
your team
stick
take
in
a
the
crack
mud,
at this
right there.
Right now.
it wasn't even unsensible. It was like, hey, maybe we should consider the cost here, and she's like. Aw, puppies. Oh my god. I love the
Snake
music.
eyes.
It was nice of them to already have that zip line set up.
Right?
That's not noticeable at all.
Nope.
Super subtle.
Yeah.
This is the most subtle of them all. I'm a huge fan of how.
Oh my god.
That's a nat 20 on sneak.
That is I love it. Oh my god.
I mean, by the reactions of everybody else in that shot, it was. Nobody knew there was a motorcycle.
Yep, again, subtle.
Thanks for dropping in, Stalker. Shall we do our thing?
Oh my god. Are you
Is his
kidding?
name Stalker or Stalker?
I can't.
Stalker.
It looks like your team blew it on the first try.
The notion that the G.I. Joe team could breach these defenses was totally ludicrous.
Again, she's still like, only the
were
half
saying-
believer.
Well done. But your success only proves security here is adequate.
You just lost me, sir.
So,
Brilliant Commando would
Wait.
have got 3 of you.
No, wait, wouldn't their success
But it'd
mean
take
that
dozens of men
that
with
the security
heavy
there is
equipment
not
to steal the
adequate?
satellite. That force
If
your
this
side
team
That's
of
what he
those four
said.
people-
He said
okay.
security here is
Sure.
inadequate.
Oh, I heard
Well,
adequate. I'm sorry.
He was saying that it's adequate because you could only get 3 commandos in, but it would take a whole group of people and equipment to steal the satellite.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
See, the way I was looking at it is if these 4 bozos could break in, not that they're bozos. If these 4 people could break in, then your security needs relooking.
Basically,
This
it's only
makes-
fine.
this is the truest representation of the DoD.
Yeah,
Hey,
it is.
hey, I want you super elite commando team that has access to all our specs and OPSEC and know every single thing about us. Yeah, I want you to test our defenses. Ah, shit, guys, they broke through the defenses. We need more money.
Yeah.
Can we have more money for defenses?
Yeah.
I could really use some more money for defenses.
Yes.
I can't believe, this primed me to be like, the Defense Department needs more money, man. I mean, there's no such thing as perfect. We can't have perfect security, so you just gotta throw more money at
Make
it
it
every
more
single day.
and make it more and make it more.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, that's a good point. I got nothing to add. Hey, Moonstar.
Oh, I haven't even looked at the Twitch
Yeah,
in a minute.
A wild
I've been
Moonstar
very
appeared?
It still hasn't loaded
Yes.
for me. I have been trying to load Twitch
Oh,
for
no.
this whole time. It's okay. I don't know what's happening. I have to update my thing.
That's okay.
Do
Well,
we
if you just joined us, we're making fun of G.I. Joe if you couldn't tell.
Yep.
And what's important to note here is that the dolls, the action figures, came first, and then the
Yes.
show. So we're watching a toy commercial about
Yes.
selling these toys that, as Jules put it, intertwined with more toy commercials with the ads that would normally be in the program. It's a lot of, hey, I heard you like capitalism, so I put your capitalism into capitalism. When you drive away, you pass on capitalism.
I literally wrote in the notes, so capitalism with a little capitalism topper.
Yeah, just see
Just
the
a
capitalism topper.
sprinkle, just a sprinkle of
Alt Bay
capitalism.
of just capitalism.
Okay.
I want to absolutely compliment the chef on that content warning. By the way,
Yeah,
Like,
it was
just-
was Jules' idea. The Hasbro's
Jules.
legacy of propaganda.
yes, just yes,
Yes, just like
I'm here for it. I love it.
Oh, Lord.
It's the little sprinkle
I
of
was really
capitalism
proud
on
of it, actually.
capitalism.
I was even more satisfied with G.I. Joe No Better You Don't. Oh, God damn it, I said it wrong. G.I. Joe No You Better Don't. There we
no, you
go.
better don't.
It's a very
even notice
RuPaul.
that
It's a RuPaul quote. It's a thing. It shows up in many forms. So why don't we go on to the next one? Next up, we have.
1 second.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. Technokomi or Okomi says, how influential do you think the GI Joe action figures were towards recruitment for the Vietnam War? And we covered that a little bit, but if we want to circle back to that real quick.
Okay, sure. When Vietnam happened, GI Joe had been around for like 20 fucking years as a doll and as a comic book or a comic strip in the Sunday Times. But when the war happened, they actually had to rebrand because anti-war backlash. What does that mean? Does that mean?
Yeah, you're really pinning one of those sides as the villain.
Exactly. So
Beatniks.
yeah. The Beatniks ruined GI Joe, so they had to rebrand. And then they became adventurers, and so the combination between the adventurers and the military stuff comes together to become GI Joe, a real American hero, the cartoon, which we have just been watching.
Yep. And
so to answer your question, it probably played a very large role because of the rebranding to like kind of separate, like, you know, to separate the image of the military with this unpopular war. It probably played a role because of like this like, oh my god, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But I probably played a large role in it because they were trying to reach that audience. They were actively trying to bridge that like gap, and so it probably helped, is my guess.
I actually think the opposite. I think it didn't really help recruitment. One, because no one really joined her at Vietnam. You were drafted.
Exactly.
But
yeah,
they were like, oh, this war is so unpopular. We have to be Indiana Jones GI Joe and go on adventures and save the idols and all that. And then it wasn't until like
you're right.
That backlash kind of settled down that they went back to like, nope, we're military again. All that was just a phase.
You're right. That goes really well with what we were talking about last week.
Yeah.
With how, like, looking at the old ads, they had to kind of try and reach a wider audience with the, like, out of the anti-Vietnam War activists and all of that. So, yeah, I think Huss might be right. I don't have the data on it. I didn't look up if this had any any tangible influence.
I would think like it might have some early influence, like when the doll first came out. Doll comes out 64. Probably. We go to war 65.
Not really.
So? No?
Because those army men had been around before. They just weren't posable. I mean, it was always a very successful toy for Hasbro to make army men. They
like
were
the little green army men?
Lead die cast army men back then.
So
ooh,
you don't think you don't think that the toy had so much popularity and was so integrated in homes early Vietnam through 68, and then it started getting as people decided and realized how unjust Vietnam was, how like the travesties that were going on, it changed opinion, and that's why it became associated with anti-war movement because it was so spread in everybody's home. It had to be viral, or it had to be like pop culture enough that it affected somebody's dollar for them to associate Beatniks fucked it for everybody.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. And imagine how many people got drafted into the military and had a kid, and somebody bought that kid a fucking army man so that he could think about his dad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, imagine how much that happened.
Kids 11 years old, 12 years old, it's the first kind of dolls like this. It's a hot item. It's in every kid's, and until public opinion has shifted about the war, kids are still linking playing out that I get to be a military man, I get to be a soldier with the doll, and then they come of age, they go into the military, right? So like,
this might be jumping a little ahead, but to kind of rebrand the question is, I wonder how influential GI Joe was to Desert Shield and Desert Storm recruitment, because I think that was where we probably
the timing works out there.
Yeah, like you had the whole 80s to indoctrinate kids.
That's why I was trying to draw that thank you for saying that. That's why I was trying to draw the Aladdin reference, because they're putting Middle Eastern vibes in this in 86, 92, 6 years later is Desert Shield and that's the same time period. And we have Aladdin, and where things have already been heating up in the Middle East when this is coming out. So like there's maybe it's coincidental. It's the first coincidence, right? But this is all coming out the same time, and they're definitely focusing on Middle Eastern imagery and a shift from like Vietnam imagery or era imagery or Korean War imagery, right? All that shifting to Middle East in what is the first episode of G.I. Joe in '86. So
absolutely true.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point.
Yeah. Do we want to keep watching some more of this, or do we want to move on to the next video?
Can we go on to the next one? We're going to look at some of the G.I. Joe PSAs that were aired, sort of like commercials. These are the real PSAs. These are not the spoof ones that are fucking hilarious, but these are the real ones.
One quick thing is I always thought this guy here on the left was the lead G.I. Joe, but seeing the guy on the right, the Hitler Youth on steroids, being the center guy was a surprise to me in that last video.
I was always pissed Snake Eyes wasn't the leader. Always thought Snake Eyes was cool. Just saying.
Let's tell Mom it was Billy's mistake.
You're making the mistake.
Dang it, Billy.
Anyone can have an accident, but lying makes it worse.
But Mom will be upset.
She'll be even more upset if you lie. And how would you feel if Billy got punished? Face up to what you've done. Don't take the easy way out.
We'll tell her we did it.
Remember, it's better to tell the truth.
And that's no lie. Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
And pause it there.
Okay.
So let's teach some kids some actually good lessons. Lying is bad. Like, you should not pass off blame for something you did onto someone else. And then
not a bad lesson.
Yeah.
Not a bad lesson at all. For one thing, all of these PSAs are like really good things. Some of them were about stranger danger. All of them were like really great facts for children. So number one, we are cementing G.I. Joe as the good guy.
That's
period.
That's the implication here.
Yes, absolutely. He's the one teaching your kids these good lessons, right? But then also consider, this is me as the military veteran with moral injury. Consider having watched this as a child and being taught, I'm not going to blame someone else for my actions. And then growing up, going to a war and coming home going, Jesus, I did some fucked up shit. And people are like, nah, man, you were young. You didn't know, or they programmed you, but I shouldn't blame my actions on somebody else.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the chat, but
that's okay.
But yeah, yes, it just seems like it does kind of create that dissonance, like with that lesson. We went over it in my philosophy or ethics of war class, and one of the things that's held in just war theory is combatant equality. So if say a state enters into a war unjustly, let's just say we know that the cause is unjust, those actors in there are doing unjust things, are doing like unethical things, but because they're just a soldier, they're given that blanket slate. So each side, regardless of how just their cause is, our blanket slate, their morality is equal, so they are allowed to fight. And there are a lot of philosophers who challenge that, who say that like the unjust side, no actor within it can be acting justly. Like there's no way to render that dissonance. So this is kind of that. You know what? I think I'm onto something with talking about theories of war using G.I. Joe.
I'm telling you, I will be your sidekick. I will laugh at all of your jokes.
Fantastic, feed my ego. But yeah, I can see that being a little bit damaging.
Yeah, I could definitely understand how that conflict of responsibility could be to a soldier.
Yeah, like the WNDs in Iraq don't lie. Like exactly the population that they're talking to. The Desert Storm leading into all the way to Iraq War, the second try. It's telling that population, lying is bad. Don't do that. You shouldn't blame someone else for something you did, and then the country does that.
Yeah.
And you're told to be patriotic about it and rally around the flag and all that.
Yep.
Cool.
I like when you said Iraq War Part 2, my mind immediately went to, we need to do a watch party of Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2, where it's the Iraq War and Iraq War, like the old comedy, and see how horribly like they were for propaganda, like how much of a propaganda they were. Not, and plus they've aged absolutely horrible. There's tons of shit to tear apart in there, but like how much of that primed is, what years were those? Like for Iraq 2.
I just want to clarify. Did you say hot shots or hot sharks?
Hot shots.
Okay.
He said hot sharts, which actually does make sense.
Yeah,
However,
okay.
the film is called Hot
Shots. Gotcha. Okay.
I was just going with it.
I've seen both of these films, by the way, I absolutely support this.
I saw plants of his face like just screw up into this and I was like, shit, did I say something absolutely fucked up here? Am I way off base? Did I just come in from 5 conversations down the road and miss out what the fuck has been going on? No.
I thought that was just like a joke because of how terrible like the part 2 was. So instead of being Hot Shots, they called it Hot Sharks on like I thought it was a purposeful choice.
So Hot Shots was 1991.
Yeah.
I was but a twinkle in either of my parents' eye.
When was Hot Shots Part 2?
1993.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember seeing that in theaters. Anyway, it it feels like there's a lot. I can just see the Hot Shots propaganda train with the G.I. Joe train. Like it's just too much all at the same time.
Yes.
Like, and it's all very focused on the Middle East stuff, early mid 80s, early 90s.
Interesting.
Anyway.
Okay, ready for PSA 2?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, let's get away from sharks.
Had an accident.
Please.
I'll take you to it. Uh-oh.
Look, Wild Bill.
Who was that?
Some stranger. He said Donnie's mom was hurt. I didn't know if I should go with him.
Well, just don't do what a stranger says. Check it out with an adult you know.
Not
remember
bad advice. That's good advice, yeah.
Now I know.
Absolutely.
Knowing is half the battle.
And that's it. All of them are this simple.
And knowing is half the battle.
Exactly.
What I hate most about the and knowing is half the battle is not that it is absolutely perfect as a jingle and has plagued me for 35 years of my life as what goes off every time I hear that phrase. I can't unhear it.
Yeah.
But what bothers me the most is that they don't complete that sentence and explain to children that there's a responsibility to follow through. Knowing isn't just half the battle. It's barely getting onto the battlefield and recognizing what's going on. Like there's no actual encouragement to follow through. Here's information and just done with it. And the issue is the reason these are PSAs is because the kids aren't getting this information at home. These are answers to endemic problems that society's thinking that it's facing. And
in particular, the stranger danger ones. There's a whole history to unpack there.
This is around the time of like fire detectors fire sensors being put in homes, and so I remember watching the stop, drop, and roll and teaching you to refresh the batteries and all these things. Like early on, GI Joe, the PSAs is good knowledge, but like it's targeting the wrong people. It's targeting kids instead of expecting adults. It's victim blaming kind of, and and there's no empowerment in here. I was hearing a discussion on that and how the G.I. Joe statement it moves the conversation away from what actually needs to happen. Which was on the onus on most of this stuff. It should have been on adults and on society.
I agree.
Yeah, you're right.
However, you say what they're targeting. I don't think these are, are these good for the kids to hear? Sure. I think that the reason that they created these, however, was for the parents, because the parents can watch it. And not only are they thinking that is a good lesson, I will put that on for my child because they need to learn these lessons. Not only, they also get to ease the guilt of sitting their child in front of a television instead of actually interacting with them. So of course the parents put it on. So that basically, these are sort of like the capitalism cherry on top of the capitalism sundae.
I didn't even think of that. Like the PSA being the justification for parents to reinforce to the child that this is a good show and it's imparting good knowledge on the children. I didn't even think of that.
And it still helps, like, the parent sees like the toy at the store and like, oh, this show teaches my kid good morals.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
then because it's associated with the military, they're like, oh, well, that's a good thing too. Hey, trust them. Her woman's son decides at 10, like, mommy, I want to join the army. Great. They encourage it because you want to foster your child's dreams. You don't want to crush them. And because you're conditioned to think that this is a good thing, you're just you egg it on even more. It's like there's no conflict there. You don't have you don't think to sit down and say say anything about it. You just kind of keep fostering that, and then you get us.
Exactly.
I
Goodness, that a better myself.
I think the fact of like playing soldier, playing G.I. Joe, replacing the Cowboys and Indians game also kind of says what role this filled in society.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which also was a huge problem that I ever partook in that. Like, that was bad.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to make it to all of the videos I had, but are y'all still going strong right now?
Yeah, I'm good to keep going.
Okay, I would love to go on.
Sunday. Sorry, the chat gets me.
Let's go on to the next one.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk first.
Sure.
So you guys remember when Transformers came out? Some people loved it. Some people hate it. It is a huge success. The whole film franchise. It made lots of money. So after that, Hasbro turns to its next most viable property, G.I. Joe, producing 2 incredibly terrible movies. G.I. Joe, the first one is called The Rise of Cobra, and I think the next one is Retaliation, and I'm pretty sure The Rock is in that one.
Yeah.
So
there should be watch parties.
Let's go back to the fact that Cobra is a ruthless terrorist organization, and watch this next video.
Satellite contains 10 hollow platinum tubes filled with a tungsten rod.
Zeus satellite.
I love how they made it look really scary and it's just a satellite.
Awaiting drop authorization.
Now to
oh wait,
direct
no,
the
I guess
rod
it's
to
like a
its
special
target,
one.
we don't launch it or fire it.
We drop it.
Oh my god.
Gravity does the rest. Observe.
Look how cool the music in the background is, though.
Satellite 1A. We have
I want
remote
the
launch
mask.
authorization. 3, 2,
It's kinda
1,
cool.
drop.
Oh boy. Oh no, what's happening?
A rod touches down 8 times faster than a bullet, and with a force significantly greater than a
What?
nuclear warhead.
Space
None of the
railgun.
fallout.
Yes.
That doesn't seem like it makes sense, actually, but alright.
It doesn't need to.
Make things go boom.
I had heard unsubstantiated rumors that it was a weapon that was actually being attempted to be made.
Yeah, that's.
Did they just destroy all of London?
Yes.
This is London, yes.
So, okay, so London is gone now.
Gone in this universe.
To your Congress, your courts.
Is that how you react to like 10 million people dying at once?
What is it you want?
Just stand up like.
I want it all.
I
Okay.
want it now.
Okay. So,
Super vague.
I would like to point out that they are a ruthless terrorist organization. However, they are much more similar to Raytheon,
Yeah.
Lockheed Martin, pretty much any of the war profiteers. This is the most sophisticated war fighting technology ever.
Yeah, like they're trying to do this like guerrilla terrorist narrative, but they're showing like a Raytheon super soldier instead. Like if you're gonna go with that, make the PMC be the bad guy. That's cool. Like I can follow a story like that, but I don't know. I feel like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, and it's very strange.
Yes. And in this scene, Cobra wants to make a show of force. He basically says to everyone in the room, if you don't do exactly what I tell you, which by the way, what he was asking them to do was de-arm nuclear warheads. Like, you're not allowed to have nukes. And if you don't do what I say, you are going to be next, basically.
So their show of force was murdering all of London.
Yes.
And as Phoenix just pointed out, didn't the US do that to Japan?
So
yeah.
what's extra interesting about this is that was not a made up scenario. Project Thor is something the US military has considered, because due to the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, it prohibits nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons in space. But if you just drop a massive tungsten rod, it causes damage.
It's not against international law.
Yeah.
Yep, it hits terminal velocity and it goes off with the worse than Hiroshima.
It is something the Air Force has considered.
One thing you guys missed.
Make this make sense.
I thought they just abandoned the project. I'm pretty sure I just saw headlines of them just abandoning it within the last month or two.
I hope they have.
It's either that or they abandoned the Navy's railgun project.
Basically. So they're making this show of force, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this sounds like a pretty it could be a successful tactic. I mean, he wants it to be big and scary. It's almost like he's trying to shock and awe them. You might say.
Yeah, maybe.
So, which, for those of you who don't know, is exactly what we entitled the operation that was the initial invasion of Iraq in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
So there, yeah, that's
yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Sorry,
I didn't mean to be super dark.
The same concept that we followed when with the Kuwait incident with Iraq.
I don't know that
too.
one.
Where I didn't think that was SHIELD, but yeah, when Iraq invaded Kuwait and General Schwarzkopf led the combined forces.
Yes. Indeed.
But yeah, that's just this is just a UN meeting where everyone can't tell America no.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is. UN meeting.
Yeah, but where
Absolutely.
everyone says no to America and America doesn't stop.
Yeah, they say,
Yeah,
okay,
so
fine, don't. Then we will just blow you up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very similar to how the U.S. U.S. foreign policy in general. Yes, that's a really good dark note to end on.
Yeah, yeah.
How do we get here from these little plastic GI Joe things to this?
I mean,
because it's about war, so that's usually where it ends.
We do still have fun PSAs and fun toy commercials, though.
That's true. And
That's true.
If somebody would be so kind, maybe Haas could drop the link to the spoof where they'll fight for capitalism where there's trouble. Please drop it in the chat. I still have not connected to Twitch, but
yes.
That one is also very, very good.
There's a YouTube channel called Non-Compete, which is an anti-capitalist YouTube channel, but they made a spoof of a G.I. Joe episode called Cobra Comrades, where the Cobra people are all the heroes and they're fighting for equality of the working class, and G.I. Joe are the capitalist overlords.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now that I have context to know what that means, I might actually watch that video.
Nice. We did a little education today for
I
Katie.
learned things. Thank you. Usually I'm the one teaching. Poorly.
No, very well, very well. So thank you for letting me research one, and that was really cool.
That was super great. That's okay.
Yeah.
You get it twice. If that's open. If someone wants to do that, if you have an idea and you want to take over, I'm fine with that. You give me a couple days off. I'm not going to be mad. I promise.
Yeah.
So reach out if you do. I'm fine with that. I'm also looking for someone to consistently help with research. So if you're someone that wants to do that, please let me know.
Yeah.
yeah, this was really cool. I did not know any of this about GI Joe. I thought that was really neat. And you know, the propaganda went pretty deep on that one.
It did.
All right, here I got a fun note for us to end out on. Just a quick 39
cool.
seconds.
Love it. Let's do it.
Right here.
You're not cooking.
Yeah, you.
Pork chop sandwiches.
My brain all the
oh,
time.
Oh shit! Get the fuck out of here! What are you doing? No! Get the fuck out of here, you stupid!
That's more accurate. That's what I'd be yelling.
Yes, get the fuck out!
My
Get the fuck out.
Smelled good.
Detective, did no go in and you tell me do things. I done running.
The poor kid's traumatized. What do you expect?
Yes.
Give him a break. He's just experienced some extreme trauma. Oh my god.
Oh,
That was my intro to GI Joe.
Thank you, Haas.
really?
That was so good.
Pork chop sandwiches.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's the more accurate way of how to handle that. That was a much better note to end on. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Anybody have any
thank
closing
you.
thoughts?
Thank you for bringing us back up, Haas.
All right. Any final words?
I have been Jules. Fuck war.
Fuck war and drink water. I'm Plantifa.
I sincerely fucking hate war.
Well done.
Enough. I'm Haas. Peace and love. Good night, all.